This video is brought to you by HelloFresh. HelloFresh's goal is to build food solutions with the least possible impact on the environment. Use the link in the description below to get yourself 21 free meals plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh. All right, what's going on, everybody? It's your boys back again once again with another episode of Power Rangers Academia. Yes. We are here, we are now, and we're kind of live because, you know, we do this and record or whatever, but we're here for another episode to get you guys going and get the Power Ranger juices flowing. So we got plenty here to talk about today. So before we get into it, JD, how you doing today, sir?
See, when you said we are here, we are now, I thought you were referencing the song from Power Rangers Turbo when they used the Rescue Megazord.
I know, I say that in like all my videos.
Like, we're invincible. But anyway, that's a deep cut. Yeah. Good.
Rescue Megazord. Oh, cringe.
Rescue Megazord is fire. I love it.
Yeah, it is fire.
For Lightspeed Rescue, it would have been not Power Rangers Turbo, but I digress.
Yeah, that makes, I get you.
So Isaac, how you doing today, sir? We missed you on the last session that we had.
I was doing fine until I heard this dude over here bring up this Rescue Megazord.
Oh my god. Are you really gonna freaking you gonna turn this into a turbo episode right now?
Please, no.
Yeah, okay, not yet.
We'll save that. Let's save.
We're not doing that.
We have some things to kind of talk a little bit about as far as, you know, obviously, you know, Power Rangers and whatnot. And big shout outs to hitting over 300 subscribers, because like that's like kind of,
that's where you play that horn. Play that horn too. Play the horn.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, like it's really cool to see the channel, like, you know, like organically growing like on its own, because like these videos I should say, they come out like whenever, you know, I get the chance to like upload them and whatnot. But it's good because it shows that even though Power Rangers is a very niche fandom, there's still a lot of people out there that are still trying to watch content for it, which is really cool. And speaking of, you know, stuff that's really cool, you know, it is the 25th anniversary of Power Rangers in Space. And let me just say, okay,
best season, let's go.
The greatest, the best season of all time. Okay,
Facts.
There is no argument. This is unanimous here at Power Rangers Academia. Okay,
let's go.
We understand that it is, in fact, this is not opinion. Okay, in fact, the best season out of all of them. All right.
Spoiler alert for the next tier list. Just saying. Just saying.
Oh yeah. So like, if you didn't know, now you know. But of course we're gonna, I guess, give some of our favorite moments as to why, and just kind of go over, you know, for those that may have obviously watched Space, and for those that maybe you haven't, you're gonna learn today. All right. So Isaac, since you weren't here with us last time, you can start us off. Give us some of your favorite moments in Space.
Well, I can't really just sit here and just give you a list of my favorite moments, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to tell you why I like it so much.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, you know, kind of same idea. So, I mean, look, the season started out with a bang, right? We have a cloak, somebody in a cloak, and we see all the villains just there. Like, yo, is this really like the end of the Power Rangers? Like, all of them are like celebrating and, you know, talking, and we see Dark Spectre. We see Dark Spectre in the cut in the sky right now, congratulating everybody. You know, everybody looking up to him like he's the ringleader, or the one everybody goes to, the mob boss, whatever you want to call him. And you know, we see a cloak figure go in there, the Spiral Sword, he's just going ham. We don't know who this is, and it's like, okay, we remember the last episode of Turbo had everybody in the rocket ship.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where they at, you know? So it started out with a bang. We saw some familiar faces off rip. We also got a foreshadowing of things to come. But one of the reasons, well, I'm not gonna say one of the reasons, but the reasons why I like this season so much, it was like a proper ending to the Zordon era. Like, I don't think that any other season had an ending as impactful to the whole series like this one. Dino Fury had a close one, but come on, son. Like this right here, it started with Zordon, and this is where it ends with Zordon.
Right.
So it was literally the end of an era that spanned for a course of a couple of years. I forgot exactly how many. But the new characters that got introduced, we had Andros, we had Zane, we had Astronema. Some of the best Rangers of all time debuted in this season. And it's not like one of those seasons where, like, for example, Mighty Morphin, obviously it happened for a couple of years and we had new faces and it was still Mighty Morphin. Then we transitioned over to Zeo. That was, just basically one season. Nothing crazy too happened, but it was it went from the show to the movie. Then we had Turbo, where we saw significant changes as well, especially with the cast that happened midway through. And then Space, like nothing. Well, I'm not gonna say nothing because Galaxy still used the ship, but
yeah,
it was really. It didn't really what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, Galaxy, where it started off, nothing from what happened prior really. Galaxy would have still happened even if the crossover never happened with Space, right?
Yeah.
Like, it would have still happened. One thing, especially with now, Hollywood, what they like to do, and you guys see it a lot in Marvel movies, is love interest. I'm not a fan of superhero movies, and they forcefully put in a love interest there. Like one of those things where you knew Ashley had a thing for Andros, and you knew Andros had a thing for Ashley, but they weren't forcing it down our throats, and nothing ever became official. Like, they always left it to us to try to put the pieces together.
Right.
So I feel like it was done perfectly. It introduced like the Power Rangers at that time, their strongest challenge, which is their, I'm not even gonna say evil counterparts, but in the way they are, the Psycho Rangers. During the Psycho Ranger arc, you really got to see each Ranger shine, right? That's where TJ became the leader again for one episode. He's like, this is how we gonna beat them.
That solidified his career. Like,
yes,
legit.
Exactly. We saw good combat, even though most of the footage was Sentai. I think up to this point, this was like the most Sentai used. That's the season they used the most Sentai footage, but it's fine. That's the Carlos. And speaking of Carlos, we got to see Adam come back with the broken Morpher. Huge, significant scene, right? So I know you guys want to talk about best moments. How is that not in your top 3?
That's like my top 1, right? Like, off rip.
My top 1, my top 1 moment. And going back to how, everything wrapped up this Zordon era was when they were all on the roof while Andros was trying to, find Astronema and Zordon. All of them on the roof. And they said, no, we're the Power Rangers. And for the first time ever, the world knew who the Power Rangers were.
That was pretty big. At the time, that's pretty big.
To me, I'm like, yo, they just revealed their identities. It's not secret anymore. This has to be like the last season of Power Rangers. Like that right there to me was ridiculous. Then never mind what happened with Zordon and Andros, him cracking open a tube and releasing all the good that Zordon had and cleansing the world of evil. That moment to me right there stood out more. Because it's one of the promises that as a Ranger you have to keep. You cannot reveal your true identity. It happened with in Mighty Morphin with Bulk and Skull and Billy and Kim.
Yeah.
But then just like Men in Black, they wiped up the memory. Not this. So that is something that kids in Angel Grove will have in their history books.
Yeah.
Countdown to Destruction, probably the best 2-parter
finale,
non-crossover free. You had like one of the coolest looking Rangers, the Silver Ranger.
Oh, damn.
You had
the storyline was crazy.
Storyline was OD, and I'm telling you, everybody got to shine.
Yep.
And was Cassie Confusion Turbo or Space?
What do you mean?
Confusion was Turbo. Confusion was Turbo.
Yeah, it was Turbo. It was
Confusion was Turbo. But Cassie had moments. Like,
yeah, Cassie definitely had a moment. That episode where the building was like, she was in an office building. They had like, because this is where Bulk and Skull were with this scientist dude. And
yeah.
They had like this machine or something outside this building. That was Cassie's episode.
Yes,
I remember. And Cassie out here saving the day. Everybody got to shine, man. Long live Turbo, the best season, yo. The best season. I can't stress that enough. No other season comes close to. It was almost like it was perfect storytelling. Perfect storytelling. Since episode 1, there was no filler. Everything made sense. You had I'm sorry, I might be going a little too long, guys, but I promise I'll end on this note. You had Astronema and Ecliptor turning good temporarily. They're like, yo, that's it. Like, yo, they're about to squat up. They could be unstoppable now. Next thing you know, they got Frieza. Came back. Came back more evil than ever. Now Astronema came back with the Karen cut. And this dude Ecliptor was over here modified.
Red Ecliptor,
yo. OD, son. OD. Oh my god, this season, I was thinking about it, it made me want to cry because it's like, yo, that was quality TV. We're not gonna get that again. Even with Dino Fury, we're not gonna get that again, man.
Crazy.
And that before for anybody watching and say, oh, they love Mighty Morphin this, love Mighty Morphin that, Tommy this. This is a season without Tommy. This is a season without Tommy. As great of a ranger he was not in space, and this is the best season. And that's when they introduced the battleizer too. Come on, son. I could go on for days.
Yeah. I mean, you don't even have to feel bad because you weren't even here last time, right? So making up for lost time.
Oh, good, yo. But
two,
I love this.
But two, like everything that you're saying is like 100% facts though. Like there hasn't been a single thing that you said ill or wrong about why Space should be like looked at as the best season out of all of them. Like I know that there's gonna be fans that came into Power Rangers at different points in time, like, you know, and it's weird to say this, but like we especially can tell how young someone is if their favorites are like Mystic Force and like Samurai, and you know what I'm saying? Like hearing that is just like, whoa.
You already know there's something wrong there. You know me, I gotta call him out. Like, oh, you were probably born in 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
Like, and it's different too. Watching
that's not their fault, but
watching it, like I don't understand. Like if you watch those later seasons before, and then you have to backtrack, that goes with anything. Things are just not the same, right? So let's just say I start watching something, or you know, it's like playing a prequel in video games too, right? Like you play the first game, you thought it was original, and then you play a prequel, and it's just not as impactful because you already played the first game and you kind of already know what happened before then.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's why if for anybody here that's just starting watching Power Rangers or is thinking about watching Power Rangers, you know, you have to start from the beginning, and then you really will understand what makes Space so special.
Yeah. So JD, give us whatever you wanna, because this is the 25th anniversary commemoration portion right here.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us, man, what are your feelings about Space, and you know, anything you want to add to chime into this conversation?
Yo, just like Power Rangers in Space was a moment for Power Rangers fans at the time, because like, you know, I at the time when it's coming out, right? Like I'm like 7 or 8 years old. I'm just watching TV, but in the background, like some of the stuff that you find out afterwards, like Turbo wasn't doing well. The series was at its lowest point in terms of viewership. They're ready to cancel the show, so they have one more season in them. They're like, we're gonna try to wrap this up because, you know, this is our final salvo, right? So we're just gonna go out with a bang, right? And for whatever reason, they decided, hey, like our audience, like the people who stuck with us, they've probably grown up a little bit. You know, they're not, you know, 3, 4, 5 years old anymore. They're probably like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in that range. And they might be ready for something a little bit more, you know, serialized, where they had, you know, every episode kind of builds off the previous episode, and there's storylines that carry on from episode 1 up until the end, you know, and they started trickling that in before, but like this is like, it felt like a complete tonal shift for the series.
Yeah.
and on top of that, it added so much lore. You know, just that dinner at the very beginning, just the fact that they have that summit of like the summit where they're having dinner with all of them, like that just completely opens up the doors for what we have in the comics, because there's this like there's history there. You know, like Divatox and Rita's relationship grows, but then they all know who Astronema is. How do they know who she is? And we're only just now starting to find that out because of the comic. But it's just like it's insane.
If
you know,
if the opening for the movie is the best opening to any movie, that right there is the best intro to any Power Rangers episode, period.
Easy.
Yeah.
Like, I had that episode on VHS. Like, I used to record the episode. So I recorded that episode.
Shout
I watched
out.
it all
bootlegging
the time.
All right.
All the time.
The classic way, you know what I'm saying?
I had the episodes. Like, I would even, like, I stopped and, like, I cut out the commercials. Like, I would like, stop it and then press
nice.
record.
That's
So it was just like,
Yeah.
I watched that episode, those 2 episodes so many times. It was ridiculous, but I had to, because it felt new. It was fresh. It was exciting. You know, you're coming off of like the Turbo Rangers losing, but then they get in space. They meet this new Ranger. You don't know who he is. And, you know, overall, like it just led to a season where they broke so many different trends, where it's like, you know, Cassie wasn't your typical Pink Ranger. You know, she had a little bit more spunk than your average Pink Ranger. And then you had TJ, who technically was the leader of the team. Like, even though Andros is the leader of the team, and a lot of people have been making this argument more recently in the fandom, but like, you know, it's one of those things when you watch the episodes, like TJ still is the one that everybody else is the most familiar with, because that was their leader,
Right.
you know? And when you see it really like exemplified in that episode with you know, when they're fighting the psychos. But I feel like in general, it's just like one of those energies where TJ was always the one who had to challenge Andros, who would try to make sure that his head is in the right place. You know, especially when Andros was having his moments against Astronema and Corona again, which I like overall, some of the best villains in the series, in the franchise. Because you have Astronema, who, you know, we all know Astronema's story, but you have Ecliptor, who, one, he looks fire.
Yeah.
2, his whole storyline with Astronema is crazy.
Yeah.
There's like shades of gray to the point where you don't even hate Ecliptor. He's not even the real bad. Like, he's not even that bad of a guy. Like, you feel bad for him when he disappears at the end. Like,
right.
It's still, even to this day, I'm like, I don't know if I feel good about Ecliptor getting killed in that way. You know, why didn't he turn into a human? You know what I'm saying? But that's a joke. But but then you like, but to counter him, you had Darkonda.
Oh,
who's
yes.
one of the most godlike villains of all time. This dude,
the saloon
Darkonda is crazy. Darkonda, like the whole thing with the Beryllian Sting, he took out KO-35 with the Wasp. And then his rivalry with the Ecliptor, godlike.
Free. And
then
free.
his 9 lives thing, godlike. And then to use the last life to suicide bomb that's how many times have you seen that in Power Rangers?
Yes.
Like, you're not seeing a villain like basically kamikaze.
Yes.
His own man's technically.
Yeah.
Because he was that selfish. Darkonda is OD. And this is one of the things, like, I watched Mega Ranger last year, right? And Mega Ranger is a fire show.
I still gotta watch that.
But
Star Arcade is a nice watch. That's where it started.
But when it comes to the villains, like, they're the counterparts, like, they're not seeing the American counterparts.
Nah,
at all.
I definitely agree with
close.
that. I definitely agree with that.
For the villains specifically, like the heroes, like, they have their points where they shine, but it's a completely tonally different show.
Right. Yeah, no,
it's
it is.
a great show,
Very
totally
different
show. But like, the villains specifically, Space wins that free.
They went
it's
off.
Not even close.
Just like remember I brought it up in another discussion. Mighty Morphin had to be great, so they had to start out with a bang, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had to impress, or else the series was gonna die. They had to impress with Space, because with piggybacking off what JD said, this really was the the do or die
Damn.
season for the franchise. It had to
That's why
perform
you
well,
had
so
the
they went
return.
all out. And another thing I want to piggyback off what you said, JD, and something that people really don't realize till after the fact. You know, when you mentioned about TJ keeping Andros in check, it's don't forget, right? So Andros was helping them adapt to the space life with the
That too.
planets, and the ship and everything, how everything worked. And then when he got to Earth, Andros now is the one getting taught. Right. So they were both teaching each other, so they had that bond.
Yep.
So I remember, I'm not sure if you guys remember, they were at the juice bar.
Yep.
And you know, Andros was eating this burger. This is before Mr. Beast Burger existed, you know, and he was just, you know, he was tasting American food and, you know, high-fiving or like handshake. I forgot what it was exactly they were trying to teach him. It's like, no, this is what it means. And those interactions there are so godly.
Yeah.
Like, it just really, it's like a feel good feeling. That's what it is.
It humanizes the whole thing.
It does.
And like you said, like the character development for Power Rangers was like so much deeper. It was like, you know, the Power Rangers has always had an element of like corniness, but like In Space was like the first time where like I feel like that one I could tell certain people to watch and just like not feel embarrassed by it. Just like, yo, like because there's certain episodes, like there might be like 2 or 3 episodes that you could consider like the old formula of Power Rangers, but really like there's a lot more to it. And, you know, like and the vast majority of it. And then you know, you got, like you said, you had things like the Psychos, who again, like the villains are great.
And don't forget the Zord fights, yo. Them Zord fights are some of the best
I was
in the whole
about to
series.
say, like the Space Zords, easily some of my favorites. Like even though like the Astro Megazord is not your typical 5-colored, you know, take apart Zord. Like the Astro Megazord is one of the cleanest singular Zords out there. And then the combination with the Delta Megazord, the Astro Delta Megazord to this day is one of my favorite Megazord combinations of all time. He had the fucking things on his shoulders. He has the launch fist. OD. And then the
Mega Winger.
The Mega Winger's fire too.
About the Mega Voyager?
The Mega Voyager fire too.
Oh, let's go.
They would come out like surfing on the rocket and shit. Like,
listen, don't talk about surfing. We know what Carlos did to that poor girl in space.
No, but actually, this just reminded me. Do you remember the episode where they got the Mega Voyager?
Yeah, they had to go into space or some shit for that.
But bro, do you remember the fight they were having before that?
I don't remember the fight.
Dude, like I was like, even after we finished recording, I will watch this with you guys. The fight they were having, it was like with this enemy who was washing everybody, and the Astro Delta Megazord got hit so hard he was like skidding across the city floor, destroying shit. You're like, yo, they're about to get blown up. Like it was one of those like to be continued endings where you're like, they're gonna die. Like it felt
there
like
was
that.
a lot of them.
It was extremely dramatic.
A lot of them that season.
And then they had to abandon the Megazord. They had to let Alpha control it by himself, so they can go get the Mega. It was fire. Like they had these moments just sprinkled out there where it really drove up the sense that this is a do or die situation. Andros was in a do or die situation so many times with his experiences with Corone. In general, like it all started because they had to leave Earth off of a do or die situation, and that's what made Countdown to Destruction such a seminal moment, because it's literally planets, like multiple planets at war. You had the Gold Ranger fighting to protect one planet by himself, which that moment literally was what made him my favorite Ranger of all time. Because even though he was getting washed, I was like, he's fighting by himself. He didn't back down.
That's
right.
Fire.
That's right.
I was like,
that was
like the Gold Ranger. I was like, yo, somebody help my boy. It didn't matter. Like I was still like, this is crazy, because I just the suit in general just got it. But then you had like Phantom Ranger. Yo, so I'm maybe you guys know about this, but you guys know that there was supposed to be a 3rd episode
of
Countdown to Destruction was originally supposed to be a 3-parter.
Wow.
One of the parts was, and the original part 2 was supposed to have the unmasking of the Phantom Ranger.
Oh, I've heard of that. I've heard of.
And there was a bunch of other stuff that was supposed to happen, but budget was the reason why they couldn't film a third episode, so they had to condense them.
Oh, what could have
you
been,
like,
yo?
If you know, like you guys can look it up, but like, cause there's definitely info out there, and I think like that was actually one of the things that got me deeper into the fandom. We'll talk about that on a different episode, but like reading about that made me like, yo, this show is crazy, because I didn't even know they were going for that. But it's just like this season was special for so many different reasons, and it saved the franchise. And to close out what I'm saying, like one of my favorite moments of the entire franchise was right before the moment that you said, Isaac, where Bulk and Skull have their full circle moment and become heroes for real. That's the essence of the franchise to a T, because Bulk and Skull have had this arc throughout from Mighty Morphin being bullies to literally being heroes, being the first ones to put themselves on the front line when Astronomer's threatening to kill everybody.
Right.
And they saved the planet. And then they got in there and was scrapping too.
Bulk and Skull will get their credit, yo. They've been here since the very beginning.
Like after they morphed, Bulk and the Power Rangers start fighting, Bulk and Skull was like, "Hey guys, let's get in there."
Oh, yeah.
That shit is hype. It's every like two of my favorite moments in the franchise, that and like in Time Force with the whole like We Are Power Rangers Eric scene, but hey guy, like that whole Bulk and Skull like scene at the end of Space,
the redemption arc,
is legendary.
There it is.
You can't beat it. There's nothing like it in the entire franchise. Everybody else who tried to copy it is literally copy.
Everything came full circle. Thinking the perfect wrap up. It is.
It's so great to like kind of take this memory lane or reminiscing down like just how amazing space was and still is. And like I will always tell people, like, you know, folks that join my chat on my stream, and they'll, you know, we'll have these Power Ranger conversations, and like, you know, everyone has their opinions and whatnot, and I will always bring it back to, if you don't consider Space one of the best ones, then you clearly missed out on something, right? Like, and it's not the fact that you just didn't watch it or you just didn't see all of it. It's the bigger picture of that. All the points that you guys have made. This is like a defining moment for the franchise. This was a turning point. This was like a do or die. Like everything about Space was a do or die situation. And not only did it basically save the franchise to continue, because, you know, like if like say Space flopped, would Lost Galaxy have happened? Would Lightspeed Rescue have happened? Would Time Force have happened? You know what I'm saying? You know, these are real questions that you have to wonder.
And that was the first random crossover too. I forgot to bring that up. Ninja Turtles also.
Oh, I was getting to that.
Oh yeah.
Like think about this, right? Think about this, guys. Outside of the comic books, Space is the only team to have ever crossed over with the Ninja Turtles. Think about how major of an event that is, you know, like, of course in the comic books they had to freaking run it back, except this time it was with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, right? That was its own first in and of itself, and it's still so, and that was so good that they got a part 2, right? So here we are, like Space did it first. They made that shit popular, where it was just like, and the funny thing is that shit happened like episode 3.
Yeah, like, it was early.
It was episode 4.
It was
early.
Still,
yeah.
it was right
ending
there.
with the sewer. We saw the sewer. It's like, yo, what? The turtles, yo.
I'm telling you,
granted,
man.
Like Next Mutation wasn't the greatest show, but I was a hype. My like 7-8-year-old me was still hyped. I didn't care.
I was hyped.
Absolutely, because
I still look fondly back on that episode.
Yeah, no, because like, you know,
we still see the GIF, you know, or the picture, the meme, you know.
Yeah,
the handshake.
Yeah, the handshake.
People still like. People forget that, like, with superheroes, like, and that's the thing, like, not a lot of people I feel like realize like Power Rangers are superheroes, you know. And so when you see, you know, superheroes teaming up with other like heroes, because, you know, I'm sure people don't really look at Ninja Turtles as superheroes, but, you know, like, what are they doing? They're literally, you know, whether they're masked or not, they're out here saving people, whether they know about them or not, whether they're hiding from the shadows or not, but they're always trying to, you know, fight the good fight. And, you know, and think about, the turtles have been everywhere saving people, and people don't even realize that shit. So the fact that they were able to team up with the Power Rangers in space, that's insane. You know, they had a lot of moments all throughout the show, whether it was directly story driven, and honestly, any little thing that did happen was directly story driven. Like you were saying, there was really no filler in this show at all. There was no time for it. There was no real time to have any of those types of things. I mean, even when they had to fucking get help from Justin, okay, the one turbo moment that took place, because that was the other thing. And I remember watching this as a kid, and I was like, it's so crazy to see how, like, I'm looking at the Power Rangers in Turbo as the Power Rangers in space, but Justin's not there. And I'm like, man, it will be so sick if they have Justin in there. And I'll never forget when I saw freaking, what was it? Red Lightning, or what was it?
Yeah, Mountain Cruiser and Mountain Cruiser and Red Lightning.
Those two cars with their own personalities.
So when I saw them chained up, you know how that episode starts when they're chained up in the fucking desert, dude. When I saw, I lost my mind. I was like, yo, they're gonna get Justin. I was like, they have to get Justin. And then there you go. He pulls up. My man was in his fucking PJs. He was still in the PJs, and he still went. He went to go help them.
Where was Rocky?
We don't have to ask that question. Okay, it doesn't matter. Because transitioning from one shitty ranger to another, Carlos had a moment, and then Johnny Young Bosch comes in. Adam saves his ass. Showed him, like, dude, if you're gonna be the Black Ranger, you need to wake the fuck up, okay? You can't be doing this, okay? Like, and then I feel like we touched on this a little bit in like a previous discussion, but I was like, yo, imagine, and this could be in its own video to be honest, but it's like, what if Adam became the new Black Ranger in Power Rangers Space? Like, how much more broken would that have been? Think about that. Look at the team. Yeah. Adam and TJ? Stop. You see what I mean? Different video. We'll bring it up on text here, okay? We'll bring it up again on text. That's a future discussion. But like all these amazing things that happen, storylines, characters, like the Battleizer introduction. Zords. They had no Battleizers before this. The Zords,
and that Battleizer introduction was fire. Like, like when she presses the button and he's just like, like he goes Super Saiyan. Like, that shit was crazy.
I mean, if you think about Andros being from another planet and actually have the Battleizer, that is the Saiyan of Power Rangers. That's the original Saiyan.
Oh my god, yo, he actually, you're not even wrong about that, to be honest. But I never thought of it that way. But yeah, like, you know, like, and we say all of this, right? And we you know, this is a, you know, great episode. I'm hoping that for those that experience this and you understand like where we're coming from, and maybe for those that haven't, I hope that you now have more of a reason to literally go and watch these episodes, right? Just keeping all this in mind. As perfect and as amazing as this shit was, Tommy did not even touch this show. That's a true testament, right? Because I know a lot of people out there, even in death, people are gonna fucking shit talk this man and be like, oh, too much Tommy. No. That's a whole nother reason. And we already had mad discussions about why he is goated, right? Forever and ever, right? And even then, this man, the only time we got to see Tommy and Andros team up was in Forever Red. Yep. All right, unless you're talking about the comics, which we're gonna get into, right?
Like it did a great job for everybody, because if you look at other seasons before that, you will have like your one or two Rangers that you're like, you know what, I don't like, you know, they suck or they're scrubby, this and that. Everybody, for most part, well, Carlos at least redeemed himself because of Adam. Everybody was OD in space. There's not one individual that was a space ranger that was not OD in some form.
Yeah,
like that's like, think about that.
Yeah, and and then like, I guess the last thing I'll bring up so we can move on is like, you guys understand that like the Psycho Rangers have never been like repeated. Like meaning like there's not a season out there like because there's usually like that's like one of the tropes of Power Rangers. Like they always have to fight like an evil version of themselves or anything like that. Dude, there's never ever gonna be another Psycho Rangers, bro. There's not. It's not that it won't ever happen. I'm just saying like it won't have the same effect. Like the Psycho Rangers it's like almost comparable to when Tommy took out the fucking team as the evil Green Ranger.
Dead ass.
That's a team
that is
of,
not,
you know what I'm saying?
That is not even a stretch to say.
Hell no.
That's the crazy part.
Listen, all we do is speak facts here on Power Rangers Academia, okay? So
remember when they turned big to the new form, and then they had to use everything they had to fight them. Memorable. OD.
I was gonna. Oh, sorry. Now I was gonna say like. So then maybe this is something that the comics could touch on, but it's like I would really like to see, because when you mentioned Tommy and like there was existing Rangers during Countdown to Destruction,
right? And
I'm curious, what were they doing during that battle? And I'm like, hey, comics, like,
hey,
maybe that could be like a story where it's like, hey, here's what some of these Rangers were doing.
Oh,
during
easy.
That attack on Earth.
I got you right now. Yo, so
let's hit up Boom. You got Boom Studios on the now, so.
Yo, I got you right now. Ready? Free pitch. Just like similar to how freaking Jason, Trini, Zach were going to Switzerland, but they just became the Omega Rangers. Tommy and them became the Die Rangers. Easy. Let it happen. They were elsewhere clearly, and they was the Die Rangers. Okay, that's what happened.
And that'd be better than Universe.
Well, we'll have to briefly talk about that. So, but yeah, guys, you guys need to check out Power Rangers Space if you haven't already. It is the greatest season of all time for many, many reasons, and I hope that I hope that Hasbro and all the powers that be, they recognize this. And I'm not saying like they're gonna pull something out of their ass and like, like they're gonna have a space reunion, which I would love personally, of course, right?
Great.
That would be awesome, right? I would love for them to have a space reunion of some sort, but look, if anything, just remaster the episodes and put on Blu-ray or something, right? Just give us something. Just give us something like that. And you know what would be crazy? Dude, think about this. Ready? Space was so good. How come it has no game?
That's crazy to think about.
Has no video game. Has no,
and no
video
representative game. In Battle for the Grid.
Okay, next topic.
Which is
moving on. Moving on. Don't fucking remind me. That's a sin. That is a sin, a crime. Like I to this day, I will never get over that. They even mention it. It's like, Power Rangers Space 5th anniversary season. Da da da. And it's like, okay, where's Andros? Where's Zane? Where's Astronomer? Where's Clipter? Like
TJ.
But whatever.
Where's my Psycho Green at, man?
That yeah, that too. That too. But
you wouldn't have Psycho Green if it wasn't for Space.
That's true.
Oh yeah, yo.
And that story is
Psychopath graphic novel.
One of my favorites.
That is still the best one that they've put out. And I'm saying again, look at that.
I mean, I like
another one above Soul of the Dragon.
I don't know. I love both. It's kind of a toss up to me.
No.
It depends on the day.
I love both for sure, but like, bro, Psychopath.
Psychopath was cool. I love
that shit goes deep. That's dude. They introduced Psycho Green, but they give us an origin on the Psycho Rangers. They were the Supersonic Rangers, aka like some other Sentai team.
Wait, are you talking about the thing that happened in the comics, or are you talking about the one where Astronomer was trying to like fix them? Because I think Psychopath was the graphic novel was like when Astronomer was like helping them get better. But in the comic that prequel thing with Psycho Green was a little different. But I could be mixing things up.
That sounds like it's all in the same book.
No, it's not, because the prequel story about Psycho Green like fighting what's her name, the girl that hired Billy, like she was part of like Zordon's original Power Rangers team in the 60s or whatever. I'm drawing a blank on her name.
Wow,
but you know who I'm talking. Grace.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
like Psycho, like Grace and them fought Psycho Green.
Oh, I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that.
And then Psychopath did have to do with Psycho Green, but I don't know. There's definitely some crossover. I have to double check that, but anyway, that's the side.
Yeah,
it's OD. I love it.
Point being, space at all angles is ridiculous, right?
And it's still going. It's still going. My boy Andros
out here.
So, you know.
That's gonna be it for this video of Power Rangers Academia. Hope you guys enjoy. Leave a like, comment, and make sure you are subscribing. Thanks for all the support. And let us know any future episodes or any other videos that you want us to hear our thoughts on. Of course, in the future, it's been your boy Uchi, got the homie JD, and the man Mega Isaac himself. And we'll see y'all next.